want to be worshipped. That's one of the things Upton says is they want to be worshipped. Like they want to show up and be the intermediaries between you and like a cosmic or some kind of like godly consciousness.
Yeah, which is why they're coming with this new creation myth.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's the Anunnaki story where we were like a genetic experiment.
Yeah.
We're like a slave class that was created by these like space gods.
Yeah, I forget if we're the slave class or I know there's like there's Sumerian deities and they're supposed to be the Anunnaki, and I think that's where like the Nibiru or the 12th planet comes around. There's supposed to be like another planet they zoop around on. I think that comes from Zachariah Sitchin and like Chariots of the Gods, and I think the original narrative was that for some reason they needed gold from the planet, something about gold, and they came here to mine gold, and I think they made, or the theory goes that they made a couple kinds of humans and that some of them didn't work. So like there was like a rebelled human thing that they destroyed the planet, and that goes to like the flood kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I think that they had like a prior human and it didn't listen. It was either disagreeable and didn't I forget exactly the thing. I haven't read it in a long time. But then eventually it comes to them making humans and then either piecing out and then promising they'll be back at some point or something like that. But also, I remembered a lot of that early stuff, too, is when I started reading about that when I was like 18 or 19, like the other couple guys in the world who were really fluent in Sumerian totally were just like, yeah, this isn't what's going on here, dude. Like,
and because there's like the Scientology thing with Lord Xenu and like the souls in the
volcano or whatever. Yeah.
There are all these disparate mythologies, but they all kind of have like a Gnostic bent of like this evil creator god thing that we have to rebel against. It's interesting that like the Gnostic dualism is present in most of them, if not all of them. I don't know.
Yeah, it is like a subplot of a lot of them. It's like, well, there is a creator thing, but it's bad, and we need to like rebel against the order of the universe.
Yeah,
you know?
And you sent me that the Joy of Satan Ministries.
Dude, that is the craziest cult I've seen in a long time.
It's like the Zechariah Sitchin stuff, like mixed with LaVeyan Satanism. Yeah. And I can't remember exactly how it goes, but it's the same kind of narrative where like we were created by these extraterrestrial beings, but like Satan's the liberator, and he's teaching us how to like. And
they're anti-Christian. Yeah, they actually believe that like the pagan gods were the fallen angels.
Oh yeah,
and those were the original
Christians
gods.
Are like demon offspring or something.
Yeah, the Jews and the Abrahamic religions were there to get rid of the pagan gods, which I think they even admit were fallen angels, but they think are good.
Yeah,
which is weird. Yeah.
Yeah, and that echoes some of the stuff we talked about in the Gnostic Heritage of Metal episode, where they have this narrative that gets really muddled in the good and evil aspects of it, because they'll identify Satan with the creator god, but then they'll say that Satan's the liberator, and like it's
kind of one of those things that like unless you hold them to the fire and want them to be consistent, it's probably pretty easy to be like, he's this thing, then he's this thing, and most people just won't catch the subtle changes that they do, you know.
Yeah. I guess that's more of that subliminal contradiction, mind control stuff.
I don't know if it'd be useful. I could read that thing in the Joy of Satan thing, because it was like, I remembered like seeing this and being like, this is so crazy. It's like a mix of so many conspiracy things. Joy of Satan Ministries, also referred to as Joy of Satan, JOS, is a website and Western esoteric occult foundation founded in 2002 by Andrea M. Dietrich. Joy of Satan Ministries advocates spiritual Satanism, an ideology that presents a synthesis of theistic Satanism, Nazism, Gnostic paganism, Western esotericism, UFO conspiracy theories, and extraterrestrial beliefs similar to those popularized by Zachariah Sitchin and David Icke. Members believe Satan to be the true father and creator god of humanity, whose desire was for his creations, humanity, to elevate themselves through knowledge and understanding. They have been the topic of significant controversy for their anti-Semitic beliefs in connection to the former chairman of the National Socialist Movement, an American neo-Nazi organization. Definition: the orientation of Joy of Satan Ministries, spiritual Satanism, is generally acknowledged by some scholars as a form of Western esotericism, embracing an esoteric form of LaVeyan Satanism instead of the materialist and carnal inceptions idealized by Anton LaVey. Their relations between Satan is described by Professor of Religious Studies Christopher Partridge as the core of an esoteric project of transformation based on a personal or mystical relationship. In the early 2000s, Maxine Dietrich began the creation of the Joy of Satan Ministries. Maxine Dietrich established the satanic ideology that would present itself as an esoteric form of LaVeyan Satanism, but would espouse a traditional Satanism by establishing its satanic fundamentals from ancient Middle East, Far Eastern, and Western teachings, and only acknowledging Judaic, Abrahamic concepts of Satan as a reaction. From the research of Zachariah Sitchin, Maxine Dietrich derived the theory of an ancient conflict between advanced extraterrestrial races, and incorporated these theories into her ideology. She concluded that Jews and the Abrahamic religions were products of a hostile alien race responsible for the deposition of of pagan religions and their pagan gods, who the JOS identifies as demons. With this reinterpretation, the Joy of Satan recreated Anton LaVey's Sigil of Baphomet, a sigil that would incorporate cuneiform script instead of Hebrew letters, which spells out Satan in cuneiform instead of Leviathan in Hebrew. These incorporated theories, in addition to its contempt of Jewish mysticism, became the spark of significant controversy for a religious organization.
It's so crazy. And one of the things that jumps out at me is like the dehumanization of of outsiders.
Yeah.
Which it's definitely obviously it's a huge contrast to the idea of human dignity in Christianity, and how everyone is inherently made in the image of God, and that we need to love even our enemies, and those who persecute us, which they might become one of those at some point, because they completely justify the dehumanization of Christians and Jews and stuff, which is so insane.